Hey everyone, I'm Scott from Superphase, and this is our review of Silent Hill F. When it comes to video games, Konami have been traveling an unclear path through some dense fog. For years, the developer has seemed more interested in dedicating its legendary IP to pachinko machines rather than the video games that made them famous. As a fan of classic Konami, I feel like I've been watching the company fade without a whimper, as it took the heroes and stories I grew up with along with it. But over the past year, that narrative has changed. In 2019, former Nintendo programmer turned producer Motoi Okamoto joined Konami and has since worked to refocus the company on software. His efforts since then have helped them slowly earn back some of the confidence of their once faithful. In 2024, Motoi produced the free PlayStation 5 demo Silent Hill: The Short Message and chose developer Bloober Team to head a Silent Hill 2 remake, the original being one of the most beloved games in Konami's catalog. Bloober's remake stunned critics and players alike, and its success has charted new destinations for the once-lost franchise. This time, Motoi has placed his trust in fledgling Japanese developer Neobards to deliver a new Silent Hill story with an Eastern flavor. Konami wisely tapped famed visual novelist Ryukishi 07, author of Higurashi When They Cry, to write Silent Hill F. This is the tale about Hinako, a troubled young woman who struggles to find herself in the male-dominated backdrop of 1960s Japan. Hinako isn't like the other girls at her school. Her best friend is a boy named Shu, she's good at sports and running, and she refuses to resign herself to the traditional female lifestyle that would seek to imprison her. Despite her independence, her hometown of Ebisugoka exists as a constant reminder that Hinako is out of place in society, and her friends aren't as supportive as they could be. Thankfully, Hinako can always rely on her childhood partner Shu. Silent Hill F begins with a falling out between Hinako and her parents, as she storms out the front door of her house and into a living nightmare. The depths of Hinako will be unearthed in the darkness, but once there, what is it we'll uncover? Who is Hinako really? Traveling the abandoned paths and side streets of Ebisugoka immediately brought me back to Silent Hill. Everything is beautifully rendered, and it is clear that Konami and Neobards worked tirelessly to make Hinako's hometown as authentic to its time period as possible. Upon closer inspection, you'll see that the shrouded locale is dripping with personality, selling the culture of its inhabitants through traditional Japanese food items and other paraphernalia. It all makes Ebisugoka feel real and true to its place and time. The silence giving way to little creaks of wood, ripples of water, and calm wind as you pass by are just some of the many charms of Neobard's masterful sound design. Legendary composer Akira Yamaoka once again lends his hand to Silent Hill, delivering a new suite of keys and strings intrinsic to the series, while Kensuke Yanaga implements a traditional Eastern flavor. Playing in surround sound or with a pair of nice headphones is a truly incredible experience. Though you won't wander onto Lynch Street or Bachman Avenue in Silent Hill F, the sinister spirit that has inhabited the fog since 1999 is as present as it's ever been. But where those bleak two-lane streets were wide open, Ebisugoka instead constricts the player, offering paths that wind into tight corners you'll need to squeeze through to navigate. Being pursued in these stretches can be terrifying if you don't know your way, and depending where you're encountered, you won't always have the luxury of fleeing. But it wouldn't feel much like a Silent Hill game without a strong cast of nightmarish creatures plucked straight from the tormented subconscious of our protagonist. Thankfully, Konami came prepared, recruiting character artist Kira to craft this entry's horrifying lineup of wriggling abominations and ghouls. Though the bench is not as deep as I would have liked, every enemy and boss design effectively reflects Hinako's deepening social agonies and exaggerated paranoia. Though by now it should come with the territory, consider yourself warned. Silent Hill F tells an especially grim tale that doesn't shy away from scenes of abuse and outright discrimination. This isn't a story for everyone, so be prepared going in. Though it may not be apparent from the start, there is a reason behind every choice Silent Hill F makes. Though neobards have worked hard to craft their vision of play, I won't lie, I struggled to enjoy it during my first few hours. I've played just about every entry in the franchise, and although the tone and characters immediately felt right, it took time before I began to grasp F's combat, maze, faith system, and general nomenclature. If you find yourself struggling, familiarize yourself with Hinako's map as well as her journal by pressing up on the D-pad. The journal is an especially useful asset that periodically updates to assist with game mechanics, puzzles, characters, and lore. It's written from the hand of Hinako herself and is gorgeously animated and fun to peruse through. 10 hours in, Silent Hill F's combat system continues to leave me torn. There are times when fighting feels genuinely satisfying and times when I want nothing more than for it to be over with. Given that there is no reward for killing enemies outside of a little chest beating and some breathing room to explore, Silent Hill F saw me fleeing rather than fighting for a good portion of my initial playthrough. I didn't find this strategy as rewarding, but running from enemies through Ibisagoka's tight side streets made for a few creepy encounters. On its face, combat is laid out plainly. Enemies briefly glow red during windows when they can be interrupted, which allows for massive damage opportunities provided you time things just right. But combat doesn't always feel consistent, and I don't think neobards manage to sand away all the rough edges. When it works, Hinako feels like a powerhouse, folding her enemy attackers up like simple lawn chairs. Then there are times when her wind-up animations begin instead of her quick counter, leaving Hinako open for damage. That's a problem if you aren't stocked with healing items, as one enemy can easily tick away 15 to 30% of your health bar with a good swipe or two. Not to mention the damage to your weapon's durability just for choosing to fight back. That's right, Silent Hill F's weapons can break, and as soon as that happens, Hinako is in serious trouble. Though I rarely found myself without a weapon, the anxiety of things breaking lingered in my mind during every exchange. You'll likely be looking around every corner of Ibisagoka for a fresh lead pipe or toolkit to fix a weapon on the cusp of being destroyed. Thankfully, healing and food items wait around many corners, and this too is an intended design choice. The Hokara sprinkled throughout your journey act as save points, but they also allow Hinako to deposit items as offerings of faith. Exchanging faith at a Hokara will reward you with a random wearable charm called an Omamori, which acts as an extra perk for enhancing survival in combat. You can also spend faith to permanently upgrade Hinako's health, stamina, sanity, and Omamori carrying capacity by depositing an Ima should you find one. Though I came to enjoy the risk for reward element of the faith system, starting with such a limited carrying capacity made my first run feel a bit awkward. Do I really want to run by items? Will I get a chance to come back for them later? Should I run back and forth to grab everything just to deposit it all at the nearest Hokara? These were questions I asked myself constantly. Silent Hill F holds back an amount of gratification at first, but the experience only gets better the more you play. Hinako's fascinating journey was the thread I needed to hang on, and discovering new aspects of her tale through additional playthroughs greatly increased my longevity. Ryukishio 7's deeply personal story feels at home with the best entries in the franchise, even though it takes place a world away from the rustic American town of its namesake. The influence of Team Silent can still be felt in F's tone, puzzles, and in the cadre of monsters haunting its unique protagonist. Producer Motoi Okamoto knew exactly what he was doing when he tasked neobards with this release. Character models are gorgeous, and F's fluid performance allows action segments to shine without a hitch. Though combat may not be as polished as you'd expect a game made in 2025 to be, it gets the job done, and it doesn't act as a barrier to the rest of the experience. This is a game deserving of the Silent Hill moniker, and I'm excited to see what neobards and Konami can accomplish next. The future of the franchise has never been so bright, and fans of the classics have reason to be excited for this brand new beginning with a similar spirit. We here at Superphase give Silent Hill F an 8 out of 10. Thanks for taking the time to check out Superphase and our review of Silent Hill F. Don't forget to subscribe for more gaming reviews, updates, and discussions. We really appreciate your feedback and support. Be safe, be well, and cheers!